Hey guys, happy Thursday, Hope you all are doing really well today. Welcome to our summer series. We are talking all about optimizing your analytical function at your agency. So let me just get comfortable here. Excuse me. And we'll go ahead and get right into policies and procedures and why it's so critical that your agency have policies and procedures relative to crime analysis in place now, right? In place now. So welcome. So glad that you are popping on here. Go ahead and let me know, excuse me, that you are here. All right. Hey, Michelle. Hey, folks. Hey, Kyrie. How are you today? Welcome. Today, we are talking about policies and procedures in law enforcement analytics. We are building on our summer series, which is to optimize our analytical function at our police departments. So if you have missed out on the first part of this series, no worries. You can go ahead to the units section. I think, what unit is it, guys? Does anyone know off the top of your head? Let's see. The unit all about, it's called Summer Series Unit 2, How to Optimize Your Analytical Function. Hello, Angie. Hello, Becky Sue. Hello, Gus. Welcome. I'm glad you are all here joining us today. We have some really big news that I can't wait to share with you. Hola, Gustavo. So we have some really good news that I want to share with you, and then we're going to dive into what a policy in law enforcement analytics should say, and what a procedure for crime analysis should say. So welcome. All right, so here we go. The first announcement, hey Angie, that I wanted to share with each and every one of you. If you haven't seen it already, we were able to secure some funding from NHTSA through iAnalyst. So anyone who signed up, there were 280 analysts who signed up for the last analyst mastermind. If that is you, if you are one of those 280 analysts who signed up for that analyst mastermind, then you qualify for one-on-one remote support, for 2 hours of one-on-one remote support. You can use the support for threshold analysis to help build out systems that alert you to when you should know that something is up or down, right? Are my burglaries significantly up or down? So threshold analysis can help you dig into your data and display it to your supervisors, right? So you can learn about that one-on-one. You can learn a tactical bulletin, so you can figure out how to analyze a crime series once it's at your fingertips, what to do with it, what to study, and how to deliver. And then we also have product review. So thank you to NHTSA and to iAnalyst for working that out. If you haven't seen the post, go look on the page right now. There's a link for you to sign up for your free technical assistance, 2 hours of technical assistance. So there's that's going on. So welcome, take advantage of that opportunity. It's great. It's amazing. I'm so thankful that we got that. And it's all 100% free to the entire law enforcement community who previously signed up for so there's a bunch of you. I see most of you here signed up for that. So you have access to that. How many of you have already signed up for your free TA? Let me know. Let me know. I think Angie, you have. Several of you here. I think you have signed up. Hey, Diana. Hey, Caroline. Welcome. I'm glad you are all here today. So if you haven't already signed up for that, then make sure that you sign up for that. It's free. We actually are completely booked out for August. So September, we're booking September right now. Hello, Steve. Welcome. All right. We were just talking about all that free training that's available over there. Michelle, you signed up. Fantastic. And so here, we're always looking to streamline our systems and create efficiencies and build community. This is where you come. Right? The Tribe of Excellence is where you come to build analytical community, right? So to build your own muscles, flex your own muscles, and to get around other analysts who are going to be here with you and for you. Angie says you're going to be retired by then. Oh, congratulations, Angie. So glad that you are creating legacy where you are. Fantastic. Okay, so the second announcement I wanted to share with you before we dive into policies and procedures is the IACA, the International Association of Crime Analysts. They actually announced their virtual training series is going to be 100% online. And so if you haven't already, and it's free, and it's 100% free. So if you haven't already looked at that, they have forecasting, mapping, social networking analysis. So plug into these resources that are available to you. Grow your own roadmap, right? Grow your own development. Invest in yourself, right? So there's a couple of tools to get you there. So the last announcement before we dive right into our content for this week is the Rise and Analyst, right? So many of you know every single month we have our Rise and Analyst post. So we have our Rise and Analyst post, which gives you the opportunity to highlight an analyst who has made a difference in your world. Here we are all about rising each other, right? That's how we are leaders to ourselves and leaders to others. We rise each other. So every single month we have our Rise and Analyst post. You can elect whoever you want to, just say, hey, you really impacted me in this way and you are nominated. And then tag them on the post so that they know they were nominated. At the end of every month, at the end of the month is right now, our team here in Excellence in Analytics, we select one person from that list and we send them off with a wellness package saying that so-and-so elected you or nominated you because you have impacted their lives so much. So how good must that feel? Not only to get nominated, but for them to get a little wellness package in the mail saying we were thinking of you. So be sure to nominate who you want to win this month. So we have Rhea, she nominated Nick, Rhea nominated Nick, Rhea, and Erica. Jane Doherty, you nominated Liz Pylant. Vicky Burton, you nominated Andrew Butts. Erica Babarins, you nominated Nick Roy, so congratulations all of you. I nominated Peggy, who is part of IADList, and she supports us by getting funding for analysts, including the one that I just mentioned. Tina Clement, you nominated J.D. Arnment. Congratulations. Alicia Lamb, you nominated Alexa Whitehouse. Love it. Congratulations, Alexa. Clearly, you all are making big impact in the world of other analysts. Liz Pylant, you nominated Rhea Gerstenkorn and Erica Babarins. So congratulations to the two of you. And Ashley Hood, you also nominated Liz Pylant. And so the winner for this month's Rise and Analyst, this is somebody who attended the Peak Productivity Master Course last week and ended up offering assistance, right? So she provided this journaling that she had done as a way of providing leadership of self, right? Which is what we promote here in law enforcement, in our law enforcement analytical crew. So she she responded to folks. She was on that Peak Productivity Master Course helping others build their own leadership. She also was part of a computer applications course where she then helped analysts afterwards build some of their own analytical capacity. And she's been on the pods as well, helping analysts. Every Wednesday and Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern, we have these pods where you just show up on a Zoom. We rock it out Pomodoro style. So you execute and you get a lot done, and she's been really helpful on the pods. And so Liz Pylant, you are this month's winner. Congratulations. And everyone who's here with us live and who's listening to this replay, please congratulate Liz. She has been a phenomenal member of this group, contributing in lots of different capacities. And all of the people who were nominated for Rise and Analyst are so valuable. And the people who nominated them are so valuable too. Liz, you win the cake this month. Congratulations. You will be getting a wellness package in the mail from our team here at Excellence in Analytics. And so the folks who nominated Liz, Ashley nominated Liz, and Jane nominated Liz. So way to go, Liz. We're so proud of you. You're just an incredible part of this team. And she just joined this group a couple months ago, and she's already helping others. She's already helping others. And that's what we're here to do. We're here to rise each other. So congratulations. So the new Rise and Analyst post will be put out on August 1st. So make sure that you dig into that post and nominate someone. You can nominate the same person too. That's okay too. We are here to rise each other. That's what the CEO of Crime Analysis does, right? We find the good in others and we let them know. All right. Okay, so let's dig in. Yes, Steve, congrats. Go ahead. The rest of you, go ahead and congratulate Liz. She deserves it. She deserves it, as well as all the other people who are on nominated this month. Congratulations to each and every one of you. All right, so here we go. Let's talk about policies and procedures in law enforcement analytics and why we need this. Let me know in the comment right now. Let me know in the comments right now, or send me some hearts with a little button you can press with hearts. Let me know how many people here do not do not have a policy in writing about your analytical unit. You do not have a policy or procedures. You don't have that kind of infrastructure built in. Let me know in the comments right now if you do not have, whether you're listening live or to the replay, if you do not have a policy or procedure in place right now. So go ahead and let me know that. And then we're going to share with you why it's so important. Why it's so important. Yeah, why it's so important. So what is the purpose? What is the purpose of a policy? What is the purpose of a procedure? So Gus, you do not, and I'm sure you're not alone, Gus. I'm sure you're not alone. A lot of people here don't have policies in place. Kirsten, you do not either. Yeah, a lot of folks just don't. They never thought to put them in place. Diana says, nope, not her. Yeah, who else here does not have a policy in place right now? And that's why you're here. You're here to figure out, okay, let me build a policy. This is what I got to do, right? This is what I got to do. So why build a policy? A policy shapes your environment. It shapes the culture of your agency. A policy is going to really help define where you're going as a unit. It's going to help others know how to utilize you, right? It really creates that vision. It creates that focus. A lot of analysts walk into a police department and they become the analyst and they just like, okay, here I am. What do I do, right? And so there's not real guidance or structure around what you do. We actually had our group meeting, our Rising Genius group meeting right before this, and one of the analysts there has officers. So it's a 4 or 5 analyst unit, and there's 2 officers who rotate in and out every 2 years as the analysts, right? So every single 2 years, they have to rebuild the brand new 2 people, right? And once they leave, they got to rebuild those brand new 2 people. And it takes time. It takes energy. And so we're talking about how can we create efficiencies. How can we create efficiencies when we onboard people? How can we create vision of our own analytical unit, right? And how can we help others understand and buy in to the work that we do as analysts? And most importantly, how can we define it ourselves, right? There are so many analysts right here in this live right now who still don't know exactly what they should be doing because they've been just inundated with request after request after request, right? And is that you? Let me know in the comments here if that is you. So creating a policy, the why, it really shapes that environment and you can use it as a communication tool, right? What do we do? Here's what we do as an analytical unit, right? So there's clarity around what you do and how you support other people, right? So it defines your roles and it helps people really see the work that you do. So what do? We do case investigation. Well, what the heck does that mean? If I'm an officer, what the heck does case investigations mean? Here's what we do. We can take the cell phones, right, from 2 people and we can link them together and see relationally who they called and how often and who are the frequent utilizers. And that can help your case because X, Y, and Z. So you can get really clear about your specific analytical function. What do? We can identify patterns that exists throughout the city, the town, over shifts, over time periods, over the course of 6 or 7 or 12 months, right? And help give you leads, right? And give you investigative leads, right? Give you next hit locations. So specifically defining what you can do, right? And why it is impactful, right? We have data at our fingertips from multiple different data sources, and we can identify frequent pawners, right? During your burglary investigation, right? Specifics, right? To help you clear the case faster, okay? So creating a policy really saves you time and it saves you resources. How many of you, sit with your officers and let them know on a regular basis what crime analysis is, right? Or sit with a new person who comes in and let them know what crime analysis is. So when you can create systems that do this and policies and procedures that do this, then you save a lot of time and you create opportunity to advance it, right? To advance it, to decide what's working, what's not, right? So why create procedures? Why do we create procedures? So that's why we create policies. So so the policies are like the overarching, here's what we do in law enforcement analytics. The procedures are for you, for your team. So the policies go out to everybody and the procedures are for you. So the SOPs are for everybody and the procedures are for you. Well, wait, so the policies are for everybody and the SOPs are for you, right? So the procedures, you want to know what you do as an analyst. For those folks retiring in a couple of years, right? Like a couple of people here retiring in a couple of years, or if you're onboarding people regularly, you want to be able to say, here's what we do, here's why we do it, right? So procedures put in place are going to save you training time, right? They're going to give you an opportunity to point someone to a reference so that they can go understand what the procedures are, right? What they are detailed instruction on how you conduct business. Detailed instruction on how you conduct business, like how you produce CompStat. Detailed instruction on how you provide investigative support. Detailed instruction on how you produce the daily bulletin. Detailed instruction on how you accept and distribute requests, right? So it's helpful in clarifying your role. It's helpful with onboarding, and it really leaves a structured legacy, right? So some analysts have a lot in their head and not on paper. So when they leave, the department is screwed. And so we don't want that. We want a really good leader. And I want you to listen in. Lean into this. A really good leader creates it so that they don't have to be there someday, right? A really good leader sets up the morale, sets up the culture, sets up the processes, sets up the systems so that they don't have to be there someday, so that it can operate without them, right? And so that's what you are. You are a leader, and that's what you must do, right? It helps you consistently carry out tasks and really makes improvements to your systems. All right, let me know that you're with me. You guys are real quiet today. Let me know that you're here with me. Gus, Kirsten, who else is here? Diana, let me know that you're here with me today. I feel like maybe there's a blip. I don't know. No one's talking today. We're quiet. This might be new. If this is brand new to you and you're just like, hey, this is a brand new topic and I'm just sitting here absorbing it all, then let me know that too. I want to know that you're here and that you're getting some value from this conversation here. Okay. So what are, good, Steve's still here, great. So we're talking policies and we're talking procedures. So policies, yes, Becky says we're listening closely. Michelle says we're here. Awesome. Diana, you're still here, taking it all in. It's a lot to take in, huh? Kirsten's taking notes, fantastic. All right, so let's go on the policy side. What are some characteristics of policies? Angie says she's concentrating. Okay, good. Would it be helpful to write this into a blog for you folks? Would that be helpful to put some of this in writing? If a blog is helpful, go ahead and plug in blog into the notes. We actually are in the process of hiring a couple staff of our own. So we are always looking to create efficiencies for you too. So if a blog would be helpful, maybe some of our new staff can help with that, okay? So here we go. So characteristics of quality policy. So Becca says yes to the blog. Okay, great. So characteristics of a policy. I want you to, when you're thinking about the characteristics for your policy, I want you to think about a couple things. Specific to a relevant audience. So I want you to think about your target audience, right? Think about your target audience. Okay, great. Yeah, a lot of you are like, blog it, like make it happen. Okay, apparently blog is gonna work. So we'll get on it. We'll get to blogging. So you want to be specific and relevant to your target audience. Are you targeting sergeants? Are you targeting patrol? Are you targeting the community? Who is your target audience? So you want to really be clear in your policy around what who you serve, right? Who you serve and how you serve them. You want to use simple language. I was actually hired by an agency. I was sharing this earlier with our group. I was hired by an agency to help them understand the jargon that the last analyst left for them because they couldn't understand it. You don't want to do that. You want to make it clear and simple. You want your processes to be clear and simple. But in terms of your policy, make it simple language. You want to have a copy of your agency's vision and SOPs, right? So make sure that your policy is reflective and in tune and in alignment with your agencies, right? So if they have a specific policy, don't contradict it. Just make sure you're in line with it. So make sure you know what the vision of your agency is, what the mission of your agency is. Be clear on what your unit can do. Be ultra clear. Don't do a vague one. Don't just say we assist, we offer support. Don't do that. Right? Make sure that you're really clear. How? What do you do? What support? What process? What do you offer as a unit? Make sure that it's consistent and easy to implement. Okay, consistent and easy to implement, and be short and to the point, right? Short and to the point. So those are a couple of the key characteristics of, of creating a policy. So some key characteristics of a procedure, right? You ready for the key characteristics of a procedure? So when you develop your procedures, now remember, the policies are for everybody, big picture, what you do. The procedures are internal, what you're going to deliver to the people that you're onboarding, right? So what do you want to have? What characteristics for procedures? So you want to have the title, you want to have your department ID, you want to have the date on there, you want to have whoever the supervisor is signing off, maybe even your chief signing off on it. You want it to have purpose. Right? So when you create your template, you're going to have a template. When you create your template for your procedures, right? Because you're going to have multiple procedures. You want to have a template. You want to make sure that every single procedure has a purpose. If you can't figure out a purpose as to why you do something, right? Why you do a bulletin, why you do a specific report, if there's no purpose to it, just like we talked about all this whole summer long, if you don't have a purpose, boot it, right? If there's no purpose to the report, if there's no purpose to the analysis, then get it out. So you want to make sure you come up with a purpose. You want to make sure you have definitions in there as well, right? So you want to have purpose and then a little section on definitions that describes anything. Like if you say we do CompStat, well, what is CompStat, right? We do, our annual report. Well, what is your annual report? Like what's the purpose and what is it, right? And then you want to detail the step-by-step procedure. Step 1, we pull all the data from our system using this tool. Step 2, and all the way through, it's revised by so-and-so. So really make it so that someone can literally go through this checklist and make it happen, right? So that it could be a checklist, right? A success list, okay? Okay, so without procedures, you rely on memory, right? But with procedures, you come up with really much more systematic ways of doing business. And it's just a better way to do business, right? How many of you are with me here? You're like, yes, to think about when you were onboarded. Think about when you started at your police department. Did you know what the heck you were doing? Who trained you? How did that training go? Was it like a day, a week of training? Did you feel lost in the beginning, right? Think about how you can tighten that up so that anybody can be onboarded successfully, okay? All right, so now we're gonna move into what to include in each of a policy and a procedure. So you guys good so far? What to include? So we talked about the why it's so important to have these policies and procedures. We talked about the characteristics of each. So if you are ready to move on to what to include in each one, go ahead and let me know what to include. So Steve got no training, and so a lot of it was trial by error, which probably was challenging. Kirsten lost. You trained yourself and you're still lost. And so Kirsten, you actually bring up a really good point. One of the greatest benefits of creating these processes and policies, putting these in place, is that it creates clarity for you so that you are purposeful. You know where you're going. You know what you're doing. Here's where you time chunkers, right? When we did our little boxes of what to include and what to not include in our daily functions, you can start to think about how does that fit into this vision, right? And you can create even more clarity around what you do and release what doesn't serve that bigger vision, okay? So Diana's ready to rock and roll here. Okay. So what's included in a policy? Becky, when you say same, is it same that you trained yourself or is it same that you're ready to rock and roll here? Probably a little bit of both, right? Okay, so here we go. What to include in a policy. So in a policy, number 1, you want purpose, right? You also want definition. So purpose, what is the purpose of your crime analysis unit? Don't forget that. What is the purpose? Get your one-liner, right? Your one-liner. What's the purpose? Why do we exist in our agency? Make sure that's really clear, right? We exist to do. We exist because, right? Here's our function. Okay. Definition, you want any definitions, any jargon, any language that's not clear, you want a definitions section in your policies, right? You want the case, different kinds of things, right? So maybe what's your policy on case investigations, roll call briefings, at the officer level, requests, right? What policies are in place for requests? So if somebody wants something from your analyst, what's the policy that they have to, go through? Do they have to fill out a form? Like, what's the policy around it? What's the policy regarding attending roll call for your analysts, right? Who does the analytical unit serve? How does the analytical serve? What meetings do they go to? You also want to think about, so you want to start with this big ultra outline, right? And then you want to be thinking about how to disseminate it. So once you get this policy in place, at my agency, when we distributed policies, every single person in the agency had to sign off on the policy, right? So you had to sign off, and then they collected it and it went into your file. So how are you going to disseminate your policy? Is it going to be part of your human resource division, right? Are they going to receive a copy of it and send it to everybody? So you want to think about the things that you do, the things that the purpose, right? Why we're here, the things that we do, how to interact with us, right? With requests during roll call, like all that fun stuff, how you're going to disseminate the actual policy itself. And then when are you going to revise it? When are you going to revisit it? So put in there, we're going to look at this policy and revise it every 6 months. All right. We're going to look at this and revise it every 12 months or every time we get a new manager or whatever, like put something in there. Maybe not every time we get a new manager. If you have people there who are there for a while, maybe you say we're going to revise this, every February, put it in there when you're going to look at it. Because how many of you have policies that you're like, I don't even know what the policy is in my agency overall, right? Because it's stuck in some drawer. So make it a point to put in there when you're going to revise it as well. You also want a little section in there on related procedures. So if I have a policy on crime analysis, on how my agency uses crime analysis, I'm going to say that we have these related procedures, right? We have these related procedures, found here, right? So you don't want to put all the procedures in the policy. You just want to indicate what's related to it. So Steve says we have a Power DMS document management system to manage new policies, revisions, sign-offs, etc. Yeah, and so maybe Steve, for you can actually incorporate it right into that Power DMS, and along with a revision time period and who signs off on it exactly. So you can actually document who signs off on it and who understands it. So it's so critical to build out policies for all the reasons that we talked about today, right? Really ensuring that the culture understands what you do, that you understand what you do, and that you have a vision for yourself, for your team, and for your agency in terms of analytical capacity. All right. So that's what to include in the policy, right? And so now we're going to talk about what to include in the procedure. So we're kind of going back and forth between policies and procedures. With the policies, we talked about the big picture. It helps us formulate our why. It helps us understand what we're doing. Specific characteristics. We want simple language. We want it to have an audience. And we want to have a purpose, definition, a revision date, what related policies are there. I think that's number 4. And then key topics like case investigation, roll call, so forth and so on. Okay. And then for the procedures, which are those internal pieces, we want to have also a why, right? Detailed instruction on how we perform business. We want it to help clarify specific roles. So if you are the only analyst, you can kind of put everything in there. But if you have multiple analysts, you might say the intel analyst does this. Processes, right? They do these processes. The crime analyst does these processes and so forth. The characteristics, you want the titles, the signature, the purpose, the step-by-step instructions. And then with your procedures, right? With your procedures, you want this overall outline to start with. You want to look, first of all, you want a template. So decide on a template up front that you're going to use for all of your procedures. Okay? Those are those internal documents to onboard people. You're going to figure out where you're going to store these, right? Do you have somewhere on your, community serve list or community page in your agency that says, here's all the crime analysis documents, right? So where are you going to store it? You want to have some kind of index because you're going to have quite a few procedures, right? You're going to have your ComStat, you're going to have your bulletin distribution, you're going to have your monthly report processes. You're going to have all these different procedures that you do that you're going to have different documents for. So you want some kind of index that indicates all of them, right? Some of you I know have expressed that you have binders with all of this, so you just want to make sure you have an index, what page to find stuff on. So if I have a question about CompStat, or if I have a question about the annual report, I can just go to that indexed page or go to that index electronically. Okay. So again, you want to have some success lists in there. So in your procedures, you want to have training. When you're new here, what are the top 10 trainings you must go to, right? I get that question from analysts all the time. I want to learn this. What training should I go to? Document the good trainings that are out there that you think your new people should go to, whether it's training from you or training outside of you, right? You want to document as part of your success list that your analysts know all of these data sources. List all the data sources. There's this group that I was working with that their sergeant was onboarding a new person, and oh my gosh, I got to steal this from him. I'm going to see if I can get a copy of it. He literally wrote, our CAD data is stored here. Here's the link, and here's all the problems with the data, and here's all the goodness of the data. Here's everything that's included. Our RMS is stored here. Here's a link. Here's all the information you'll find with our RMS data, and here's all the problems with it. Here's our citation data. Here's where you'll find it. Here's a link to it. Here's everything it includes, and here's all the problems with it. Can you imagine how helpful that's going to be for somebody onboarding? Here's all the outsourced data. Here's, if you use LexisNexis, here's how to find it. Here's how to use it, right? So all of your data sources all in one spot, right? How many of you would want to do that? How many of you would prefer to have that or prefer to have had that when you came in, right? Sources of data. You're also going to want to know analysis, right? You're going to bulletproof out the type of analysis that you do. We do a robbery analysis every 2 weeks. We do this every month, right? Document it out. How you disseminate. What's your dissemination process? Does it have to go to a lieutenant? Does it have to go to a captain first before you disseminate it outside your agency, inside your agency? So make sure that your procedures include dissemination. And a feedback process. Here's a great opportunity. Here's a wonderful opportunity to build in a feedback process, right? So if you can be creative, be imaginative. So our feedback process is we sit in roll call and we ask people how this went, or we produce a survey once a year to see which products are being utilized. Or we sit down at the captain's meeting once a month and say what's working, what's not. Like, you can build in your feedback loop right into your policies and procedures, right? Good stuff. Most of you probably don't hear back from your agency at all, right? So here's an opportunity to build it in. And then, role assignments, prioritizing requests. You can build in a procedure for how to prioritize requests. Oh my gosh. You can say, if the chief asks for it, it's important. If the request is asked from this particular group, like, maybe a clery acts, you give those a week to be returned, and you can define them, define what's important, help someone who's onboarding be able to set up priorities as well. Okay. Help them set up those priorities as well. So it is critical that you set up procedures and policies for a variety of reasons, right? You really want to shape a professional environment. You want to have these tools in place to shape that professional environment, to have that vision. Now, you're going to get some kickback from some people. They're going to think that this means more work for them, right? But in essence, you're professionalizing yourself. You're creating a real position, right? You're articulating what you do. You're helping others understand what you do in writing. You're understanding what you do yourself, even more so. So if you are thinking about putting together a policy or a procedure or both, go ahead right now, plug in policy, procedure, or both into the comments right now. I want to see where y'all are at in terms of building in policies and procedures at your agency. Whether you're listening to this live or listening to the replay, let me know. How many of you are, now that you've kind of understand what these are for, creating the vision, how many of you are like, I need to do this. I need to professionalize my analytical unit. I am the CEO of Crime Analysis, and I need to absolutely do this. Angie says she's going to be doing both. Yes. Diana says both. Absolutely. This is what you want to do. Sue is going to do both. Steve, you have a policy. Now you need the procedures. Yeah. And maybe, Steve, maybe after this too, you can tighten up some of your policies. What about the rest of you? if you need to, or maybe you can share your policy with the group to give them a head start. Kirsten, you're going to do some procedures? Absolutely. And here's a fun way to do it, right? What if you got go ahead, who else? Let's see. Gus both says both, but I would probably need to see an example to get me going. Yeah, sure. I'll put together a little blog for you, and then we can get some examples in there as well. Yeah, examples make it a little bit easier. Oh, actually, there are some examples for you if you want to look not right now, but right after this. The IACA website has, I think it's under standards, development. It's under Development Center. So the IACA website under Development Center has standard operating procedures. They have SOPs, examples in there. So there's one from Arlington, Texas, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Danvers, Massachusetts, Henderson, Nevada, Lakewood, Washington, and Scottsdale, Arizona. So there's a couple of samples in there for you to choose from. And I would say, take those, but also take what we learned here today and build it in as well. Okay, so I'll put together a blog within the next week for you guys to pull that all together. Take a look at the ISCA resources that are available for you. You have to be a member, so make sure that you're a member there. Diana says resources or examples from anyone else would be helpful. Yeah, and so you can do this. So you can be creative. One of the things I wanted to share with you is you can be very creative with this. You don't have to do it all in writing. Like you could do procedures by video, right? So if you think about this for a second, think about, okay, so you can get a free Zoom or you can record on PowerPoint and you can walk through what your procedure is. You could say, the first thing we do is this, and then the second thing we do is this, and the third thing we do is this. And then you can have like a couple of 10-minute videos or 5-minute videos just stored, right? So Diana, for you, where you have officers rotating in every 2 years, you can have some maybe 10 or 15, processes in video form, in 5-minute video form that everybody has to go through before they sit with you. Or Michelle, where you sit with every brand new officer in your agency. How brilliant is that? Every brand new officer and every sergeant who's been promoted, Michelle sits with them, right? So she could have like, my sergeants, here are your videos. Make sure you go through them before you sit with me. And, officers, new officers, here are the videos you need to know. Maybe 1 or 2, who knows? And then they look at them first and then they sit with you. So you can have the videos produced, so that you can automate. Anything you do repeatedly, you can automate. So if you find yourself telling the same story over and over again to people you're onboarding or people you're explaining things to, create a short little video. Zoom is free, right? So you can do it in Zoom for free and you can record it right to your desktop and then you can just store it wherever you want. You can have a list of SOPs or, processes, right? It can be very, very helpful. All right, so if this was helpful for you, please share it with another analyst. If this was helpful for you, share it with another analyst. Simply click the share button and add them to this so that they can take a look at the processes and procedures. If you have a team of people where you're just like, I've been telling them this, but they need to hear it from someone else, share it with them. Share it with them, invite them to the page, have them look at this as well as Unit 2, which is all of our optimizing analytical capacity at your agency series. All of the videos are stored there. So go ahead and share this page and the Tribe of Excellence page, or share this video if they're already here with us. And hopefully this was helpful for you. I feel like this is something that so many analysts need, not only for themselves to create clarity, but also to help create clarity within their agencies. And so if you do end up, as you begin to build this out, and you want to share this with other people, send me an email. I'll collect them and I'll make sure that we share them on our page. I can white out, or that's probably an old word, I can delete your name or redact your name and your agency name, and we can just have some examples here. Or you can share them with the IACA page and they'll store them over there for you as well. So I trust that this was helpful for you, because you are all CEOs of crime analysis. You are looking to create vision. You are looking to execute that vision and create better quality and structure. And we're here in the Tribe of Excellence community to support you in that growth. All right, we'll see you all next week. Bye now.